Hi, Jim. Thanks for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Um, my name's Jem. It's actually like an alter name. My real name is Jerica. Um, I'm just from Ohio. I'm a mom. I'm an artist. I serve. I tweet. I have a Twitter. I'm just a girl that has a Twitter account.
Oh, well, you're also, you follow space things and the electrification of the transportation industry and lots of other things as well.
Definitely. And my interest, definitely. I stay entertained. I mean, we live once and everything's just so crazy, right? So it's a really cool time to be alive.
And it is. Not everybody feels that way. Some people feel like this is a crazy time to be alive and that it's either was much better in the past or it's going to be better in the future. Well, why is this a good time to be alive in your point of view?
Well, I mean, as a server, I've been dealing with people for 10 years, and I have to communicate with people, right, every day. And I get so many different types of opinions, especially when people understand that, like, I'm an Elon Musk fan. I mean, I love everything he's doing with space, and I'm so nervous. Sorry, my voice is shaking. um, but I talk to these people, and yeah, you get a different outlook from everyone. And I like to I change my perspective based off of theirs too, right? I mean, not everybody has a negative or a biased outlook because they want to feel that way. I think a lot of it, unfortunately, though, is misinformation. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact people don't know where to get this information. Talking to my family last night, they were in the military and they were talking about how they missed being in the military because they had the real news. They don't get the real news now. You nowhere. You don't know who to trust. You don't know, and I think that's unfortunately the biggest problem.
I mean, that's a good point, because anybody could be a news source and they could counteract and contradict any other news source and they could look just as professional as everybody
Well, especially
else.
at places like Wikipedia giving information, and anybody could go to Wikipedia and write whatever they want. So yeah, unfortunately, nobody knows exactly where to go. And I mean, even me finding Elon Musk, I'm from a very small town. Nobody was talking about space. I mean, Marathon Corporation owns my town. Their headquarters owns Finley. So I'm not saying that that's the reason why, but I mean, obviously nobody's really talking about Elon Musk or Tesla or anything like that. But I have these big ideas and I want to be a part of something bigger going, forward with humanity. And so say, if I had a bunch of money, what would I do with it? I'd build a freaking rocket. I personally wouldn't, but I mean, I would pay people to do it. And I got online and I Googled it and found out about SpaceX. I'd never found out, I was 25, 26 years old by the time I found out about SpaceX, and it'd been around for a really long time before that. I was almost upset, I mean, I really was upset. Why didn't I know about this? Why wasn't this something that the children that I know about in school, the kids that are going to school for engineering, they don't know about SpaceX. I've gotten a couple of my friends, their sons are like so giftedly smart, and thankfully they look up to me. And so now they're looking at careers in SpaceX, but they didn't know anything. And yeah, it hurts, right? I'm hoping with the moon mission, especially us getting back up there, it'll just open the eyes to especially the younger generations that this is something that we can do together. I know for me, I was born in 90, so we'd already been to the moon, right? I talked about it to people and they basically shot it down, like, they talked about the teacher dying and they would always use that as a reason. And with my mind, I'm like looking around and people are dying every day. And I'm like, okay, but we're still here. Why can't we? I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't look at this as, a tragic event, but we can also move forward from it, right? Isn't there things that we can learn? So I think it's cool that we're finally trying. And I mean, obviously I like SpaceX and I think we should go the private route. I think it's a lot cheaper that way. He seems to know exactly what he was doing. He doesn't really have to use too many chances at this point. So hopefully in the future, that'll be the route. And we don't just spend a bunch of money.
But I think a lot of it depends upon what your goals are. Like, Elon, I mean, he wants to actually get to Mars. He doesn't care about how much money he's going to make in the process. In fact, he expects to lose a lot of money in the process. But then you have like these other aerospace companies. They're just fine not launching rockets as long as they keep making their quarterly profits.
I mean, it doesn't really make sense when you think about it. I mean, money is a tool. What are you gonna, what are you doing? Like, it doesn't make any sense in my mind that these companies, that their goal is to go to space. And yeah, like you said, they get into the capital part of it and completely lose track of anything. And Elon's like, okay, money doesn't do anything, right? It's just gonna get me to my point. And yeah, he wants to go to Mars. He wants to die with Mars under his feet. So in order to get that moment, I think the problem is power. People like power and they just want more power, and they get blind and drunk and we lose our, well, I'm a bartender too. I know what happens when you get drunk. But yeah, I think Elon's also pushing those people to work harder though. Maybe he woke them up, they were just asleep. We're all guilty of that. Falling asleep every once in a while. We need somebody to come around and kick us in the ass and remind us. So I think it's cool, like on every level though. You're seeing Elon with all these different ideas coming through, and then all of a sudden like 50 more ideas show up because of the competition. I mean, we're competitive in nature. So I think it's cool.
Well, you mentioned going to the moon. Do you remember when you found out that we actually had plans to go back to the moon?
I mean, just through conversations, I believe. I didn't know a whole lot about it though. I mean, obviously, like I said, a lot of my information, you have to go to NASA. You have to ask a question and then you have to do your own research. So I went to NASA. They do have an entire page dedicated just for information. Found out that Artemis 1 is going this year, which is cool, just some test missions. And then Artemis 2 will finally have some people. And then let's get, the first woman and the first person of color up there. And then after that, I think it's going to be just, I don't know, it's exciting, right? Anything.
I know, dear moon, if that happens, I mean, that will be amazing.
I will cry. I'm trying not to cry right now thinking about it all. That was an amazing mission that they've promised, and I'm excited to see it. I mean, inspiration was amazing, but the dear moon, I mean, having artists go all the way around the moon and back, and then seeing whatever they're supposed to do a project, right, afterwards to inspire everyone. Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be really cool. I didn't personally apply. I've had people ask me if I've applied since I'm an artist, but no, I think everybody else probably deserves it a little bit better. I'd like to watch.
I applied. I thought I'd be an interview artist.
That would be so cool though. No, a lot of my friends, I mean, I have so many friends in the community for SpaceX and Tesla that have applied for it, and I'm rooting for all of you. I think it's going to be so much fun, and hopefully it'd be somebody I know. That'd be so cool.
It would be. I don't think I'm in the running though, because I understood that the people they were kind of narrowing it down to, they asked them to put together a video, and I have received no such requests.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't keep up with all of the the tasks, but yeah, you never know though. There's always hope. I would keep hope all the way up until the ship is leaving. That's how my brain works.
Well, I just celebrated my 25th marriage anniversary, and I told all the people that came to celebrate that the 50th one's going to be on the moon. So they knew that.
I mean, if that's your goal, I think that you can make it possible. I mean, in 25 years, if we're not to the moon, to the point where people can go do what they want in the moon, or the moon, then probably it's probably gonna be really bad for humanity at that point. Yeah, we're probably not gonna even be here.
Well, I originally started out this project planning to ask random people off the street, like at the coffee shop, at the mall, at the bus stop, at the airport, did you know that we're going to the moon? What do you think about it? And of those people that I've asked, I'd say only about 20% of them actually know that we're going to the moon. And since you deal with a lot of people, is that consistent with what you found as well, or are you surprised by that?
I mean, I say SpaceX and people are like, what's that? Or they laugh at me because they think I'm just being dirty. So, I mean, to think that people, I mean, the news doesn't focus that. I mean, and most people are just on Facebook doom scrolling and looking at memes. I mean, that sounds about right. Nobody, I mean, a lot of people don't even care. And I mean, a lot of the responses I get too are like, we're wasting our money, right? They just think we're wasting money going there because they look at money still. They don't see what money is and understand that this could also fix so many issues. They don't understand science. They just, yeah. And then when you have that mindset, you don't even look forward to anything. You don't even try to, find out what's happening in space. So around here, it's really, so I'm so excited. I just got a house down in Starbase. I'm leaving very soon to move down there, and my children get to watch the rockets launch, and I'm not going to be stuck up in Findlay, Ohio anymore. Yeah, I'm really excited. Hopefully down there, I'll meet more people that know what's going on.
I know. Yeah, maybe you'll be one of those people with the camera across the street providing 24/7 coverage.
Yeah, I mean, my friend Jessica Kirsch, she does that. She's amazing. And people that do that, I mean, I have so much respect for. They're witnessing and they're giving us something that's so amazing. I mean, then you have Elon that's letting these people do that. I mean, I've been to Jeff Bezos, I've been down to Florida, and like that's all like blocked out. You can't see anything, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing at all. And Elon's got everything out there on the beach. You can just drive through, you can swim and watch the rockets be built. And yeah, and then you meet cool people like Jessica Kirsch, who's just standing there on the corner, recording everything every day, talking to all of her live streamers and getting everyone excited. It's amazing. I love it. Love that. See, I just need those people. You get away from everyone else and just go hide with all the people that know what's going on, and life seems a little bit better for a moment.
That's true. But there's probably millions of people like you who are kind of scattered throughout these small communities who would just are really craving for somebody that understands them and can connect with them too.
It is. It's really sad. That's why Twitter brings us all together. It's amazing how many people I've met and I've been able to connect to through Twitter. Originally, a couple of years, actually I started in 2020. I only had like maybe 50 followers. And I just moved out to California and the world shut down. I felt like I was on that, what was it, like the 12th floor, when they're like in the simulation and they go to the end, everything just shuts down. That was me going to California. And I was just trapped in this house. I was so alone, and finally got on Twitter and was like, I'm just going to be me. People like me, people like me. If they don't, whatever. I'm just going to show what I like. And sure enough, I mean, I found so many people that also like the things I like, and I found out about Starbase. Well, I knew about Starbase, but I found out like more about Starbase. And I was like, that's where I need to be. Like those people, that energy, that tribe, that's me. And you got like Rocket Ranch down there. I went down there. My friends have this ranch that's really close to Starbase. They actually bought area where they can watch the launch towers. It's a launch tower. You can watch the SpaceX launches from Starbase, and like they'll rent those out to people and everything too. They're so close to it, and it's a cool community. It's on a nature preserve. But like going there and hang out, was Jessica there? I don't know. There was like 10, 15 of us, and these people are on like all these YouTube channels and like talk to Elon Musk and everything like that. And they're all just sitting there. We're all just talking about space and Tesla and the future, and just this energy that you can't find anywhere else. You can't go to the bar and find that. Like that's what you're searching for, I feel like, at the bar. And here it is, just out in the middle of Texas, next to a beach where some rockets are about ready to be launched. So it's cool.
I know. And we might actually get to see it in August, I hear. That's like the rumor.
That's when I'm moving down. And I was like, yeah, the universe is working for me right now. I'm really happy. I
know. That'd be amazing to be there.
I mean, if not, I mean, they're claiming that eventually it's going to be, well, they'll have, I'm assuming 2, and then the booster can come right down. They said it'll take maybe 20 minutes to get it back up again. So, I mean, if you don't catch one soon, one day they'll be launching them every 20 minutes. So that'll be so, could you imagine?
I know.
I'm gonna go crazy just thinking about it.
So whenever you look at the future, like 200 years from now, where do you hope we would have gotten by then?
200 years? Yeah, my brain doesn't work. I feel like most people. I look at technology almost as like speeding things up a lot faster than where we were before. So it's almost like the Fibonacci sequence where you do 1, 1, and it just keeps like these numbers get like a lot bigger, right? So I think we're at a point right now where it's just gonna like rapidly like get to a point where it's unfathomably like insane with technology. 200 years, we're either going to be gone because we do not understand the technology we have and we destroy ourselves. Or, I mean, really, I don't think that we're fathomably even possible of understanding where we would be in 200 years. We're not even close to where we're going to be in 200 years because it's going to be that insanely different. I mean, look how crazy just the last 20 years have been. That's what I would like to see. We are just so evolved that you can't even see like the remnants that we were. I mean, that's what evolution is, right? Look back a million years ago, you wouldn't look at us and be like, oh, that's a human.
That's true. And we might actually create systems that kind of replace us. Humans, like
anything's possible.
civilization might go on, but might not involve any humans.
Well, and I think that's what we're pushing. I mean, I've heard people talk about, the fact that we're evolving into like this cyborg type of species, but I think it's a lot bigger than that. I think we're branching into multiple directions. I mean, a lot of the people I enjoy being around are branching into like the cyborg species, but I mean, you also have these other people that just like want to stay on Earth. They don't want to be a part of that, right? So where does that go? Is it just going to die off, or maybe they'll find something else? I mean, it's technology isn't the only way. I mean, I think there's probably a billion other possibilities out there. We just haven't discovered it yet. And it just takes the right question, right?
I guess the question is, as we branch in these many different ways, will still consider all of us to be human? Or will at some point, parts of us will reject other parts of us?
I mean, we don't even know where we came from. So we've already lost that. That's what's kind of crazy. Hopefully with that, I mean, studying the stars and going out and finding out, I mean, we could find the answers to all these questions. But yeah, I don't know what'll keep us human. Probably just, will we keep water? Is water still going to be what we need for life? I mean, even then you talk about finding life and maybe they don't need water.
or maybe it's like the desert suits they have in Dune, and we're able to just kind of recycle our own water.
Yeah. Well, I would hope. I mean, in 200 years, we better not have any like gross waste. Like, I don't want any more waste. I want to be clean energy.
Clean energy.
Yeah, clean energy all the way. We'll be Teslas by then.
And that's very important if you're in a enclosed small space, for sure.
Yeah, what was it, like the first man that went to space ended up pissing his pants. So I mean, I can imagine that he would be agreeing with that. He would have liked to have clean energy.
Clean energy, no waste, zero waste, human. So if you could, would you take a trip to space?
I mean, I am space and we're in space. I would explore space, definitely. I love to explore space. I've traveled a lot. I've traveled 30,000 miles just in the last 7-8 months. So that would be cool to go to the moon. Now people ask me if I want to like live on the Mars. No, I like Earth. Like I like we have a lot to offer. I mean, we've got it set up. It's beautiful. I haven't even explored it all. But when I get in a ship and leave, like just leave, like on a mothership, that'd be so cool, right? Like just go like see the stars and like leave the solar system. Totally do that. Even if it was a one-way trip, but Mars, no. But yeah, I would love to be on a rocket ship. I would love to go to the moon. I would love to do what Inspiration 4 did and just go around Earth orbit for a couple of days. I think that was cool. The beautiful sights, no gravity. I mean, that'd be an interesting experience. I went on the dragster at Cedar Point, and I don't know if you're familiar with our amusement park here, but they have like the Top Thrill dragster, and it goes so fast. And I imagine that's what it feels like being on a rocket, because you lose your breath. And yeah, I was like, yeah, I could do it.
So let's say you took an Inspiration 4 style trip. Is there anything specific that you would like to do while you were in space?
I like what Dr. Proctor did, how, I mean, as an artist, drawing and using different medias in space would be fun and exciting. I mean, I do that as an artist, I like to practice with different media. Like I'm more comfortable with acrylics and like oil pastels, and watercolors aren't so good, but I like to practice. So I think taking things that I'm like mostly familiar with and taking it, where there's no gravity and trying, all these different, like it'd be fun. Other than that, I think just enjoying it. I really just like to just chill and be in my own mind. So I think that would probably be where you would find me. I'd probably just be sitting there like, this is really happening.
Do you think you'd be like Haley, turning like lots of flips?
I don't know if I can see it. And that's what, so I get motion sickness.
Okay.
I get motion sickness for somebody that really wants to go to outer space. I can't like spin around. I can't get on a merry-go-round. So I don't think I'd be like Haley so much. She was definitely all over spinning around. My kids would be like that. I could definitely see my daughters like, but yeah, I think that would be fun. But I don't know how it feels. I mean, it's not what I'm experiencing right here with gravity, right? So it's a little bit different. It might not, but she's so cool. She makes me cry every time I think of her.
I've actually been on a 0G flight, and I've been able to do like a flip like that. I can
Yeah.
tell you that you have no sensation of movement.
Right.
So even though you're like spinning, if your eyes weren't open, you wouldn't know it.
And that's my problem. I'd probably like just make myself sick. I have to keep my eyes shut. My friend, when I was down in Florida, they did a zero G flight with, sorry, my brain just froze. It's still early. At the astronaut 16 Apollo astronaut, Duke. Can't think of his first name right now. Hold on. I have my Instagram up, I think. But I met him. I met Apollo 16 astronaut. Did you do was it down in Florida that you did yours?
No, they came to Houston. And so we actually did it here in Houston.
We were down at Kennedy Space Center, and Charles Duke does 0G flights with people. And my friend had gotten one, and we got there.
Wow.
And he was sitting in the car next to us. I just woke up, and they're like, do you want to meet an astronaut? And I'm like, yes, like still crusties in my eyes. But yeah, I always wanted to do one of those. So that's cool to know that it's not, I imagine that's what they had said. It's not that bad, but I get in my head and I'm like, I'm going to throw up over everybody and it's going to be a bad experience.
A funny thought crossed through my head whenever you said, do you want to meet an astronaut? I was like thinking, if Elon's successful, that statement will be as impactful as, do you want to meet an airline passenger?
Well, I think about this in the future, like people thinking about us living in this time, and it's just insane to think about how many evolutionary steps we're going through right now, how many things are going to change. Like it's silly to talk about, but I'm like thinking about bots. Like if we do keep making these humanoid bots, that we were, I know there's a different variety of bots. Like people think of bots, they automatically think of humanoids. And it's like, no, we're making bots in all different like animals, but like the humanoid bots is a little bit different, right? Because then you get into like ethics, because these things act like us. You can't tell the difference sometimes. In the future, you might not be able to. So then I think about like the ethics of that. These robots are doing things. And now we're talking about, I don't know, there's just so many things that we're going to have to work on. And we don't even have our own government figured out yet.
It's true.
Hopefully we'll work on that.
Let's say, so you move to Starbase, your daughters see all these starships going off to Mars, and they're like, man, I really want to go to Mars. And so they actually immigrate to Mars. And now fast forward 200 years in the future. So it's 2222, right? And your great, I'm not sure how many greats it takes, but she is really great granddaughter is in high school on Mars doing a project for history class.
Oh, you gave me the chills.
About the 20.
You're like doing like some Skyrim stuff right now.
So she's doing a history project about our time, this decade. What do you hope happens this decade that will be worth remembering in 200 years?
I think it's already happened. We're through, you talking about like for me and like space in general? You said my relative, correct? Is that what it
Yeah.
was? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. I think it's just in general, I think we're definitely we're going to be on Mars within this decade. Like there's no doubt in my mind. And I think if there's any doubt in anyone's mind, we need to take that out. Until, like I said, until that rocket doesn't land, then in my mind, we're going to be on Mars. I think that's going to probably be the most monumental, just from the fact too, it's not even like, oh, we've been like, we're going to freaking Mars and we did it. Like that energy that went behind it, like we put our minds to something, we can do it. And then hopefully from there, it just kind of shows how we've gathered. I mean, people say Elon's ultimate goal is going to Mars. And I think that is to an extent. I think the ultimate goal is to get humanity to work together to find the ultimate question to the universe. And we're not going to be able to do that until we unite. We need to work together. We need every aspect of everybody's minds, how they work, and we need to come together as a single unit and work towards these goals, because when we do, we can do great things. And I think the moon projects, all of it, I mean, when you put it all together, it doesn't take just one person. It takes an entire team of people and working towards something that is greater than them, and we can do amazing things. And because of those amazing things, more amazing things happen. I think that's going to be, I mean, if my great, child is there, she's going to see the peace and the love and everything. And that's going to be why, because we finally decided to work together.
That's awesome. And Jim, I wanted to go back to something you said earlier. You said, you meet a whole bunch of people and they're surprised whenever you're an Elon Musk fan. And you've come to find out that not everybody's coming from, I guess, a bad space. And some of them have actually changed some of your views on
Right.
certain things. I was wondering if you might be able to talk a little bit more about that.
I think it's just that I mean, as humans, we keep our mindset on things that we like, and it's really, really hard to look at the biased parts of it. So, I mean, I can't nitpick on what things like, a certain situation where I think it's just talking to people and accepting that everybody is going to have a different view than you. And instead of being like, how can I change their view? I mean, you should just listen to the conversation and accept that maybe they might have some information that you're just like, okay, I can understand where you come from. This is where I come from. And then meet in a middle ground, because, I mean, a lot of people just, I don't even, like I said, it's just the misinformation, right? And it takes years and years of misinformation for people to come up with these ideas and these thoughts, and you can't just come at them and tell them like you're wrong. So I think just talking to people and understanding why they think the way they think and changing my way of explaining it. Maybe I explain that differently, but I mean, my thought process does change talking to people and understanding their point of views on. But no, my point of view of going to Mars will never change. Like, we need to leave Earth right now and get onto another planet. But Elon, when people don't like Elon, I guess my problem is that they get into his personal life and they let that distract them from everything else that he's accomplishing. They expect him to be perfect, right? Because they're perfect. But we're not. None of us is perfect. And the fact that he has so much light on his personal life to cast all these shadows on people and force them to have this negative outlook. And it's like, I get it. I'm not telling you have to like him. Like, I'm not like, you don't have to like him, but you respect what he's doing, right? Like I had there was this guy I met, and I had a SpaceX hoodie on it. My SpaceX hoodie on it's got, the starship on the back and everything. And he's like, I see your sweatshirt, you're wearing a SpaceX, And he's like, I forget what he said something. He's like, I hate Elon Musk. And I was like, yeah, but what about SpaceX? He's like, yeah, I just can't stand Elon Musk. And I was like he was just stuck on it. Like, he wouldn't even like move past the fact that it was like, no, I'm not. Like, people want to talk about Elon Musk. It's like, no, like, talk about SpaceX, talk about the teams, talk about the people. Like, you don't have to like him. Like, what is that? So I think talking to people and understanding that a lot of the times the reason why they are upset is because, I mean, it's unfortunate, but the news focuses all their energy on casting shadow or casting light on his personal life rather than, hey, we're going to space, and he's got cars that are driving themselves and can save people's lives, and we've got these Neuralink chips that might help people walk again that have been stuck in a bed for however many years. So I think just talking to people and understanding that's not necessarily their fault, and that was the cool part about hopefully having somebody have Twitter who was going to finally give us a open platform for news. But I think he's got another idea, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, that sounds like the entire philosophy between my project of trying to understand where people are coming from, and to give them a chance to for me to learn from them, how they see the world, because maybe they have information I don't have, or like you said, maybe the information they have is incomplete or wrong, or maybe they're processing it differently, just based upon different life choices and viewpoints and things.
Definitely. I think it's awesome what you're doing. And like I said, anybody that's taking their time right now, I think it's crucial, because unfortunately, I think most of us are becoming more reliant on our friends and to become, the news outlets and like these smaller channels. I mean, you have like YouTube though. I mean, I have a lot of people, that's like the scariest thing. Like, oh my goodness, I have flat earthers in my family. It's so scary. But I think it's important. We need more people that are just, that's what I like to use my Twitter for. I have like I said, I have vast interest, and I'm crazy. I already know, like, I love to express myself. I'm an artist, but I like to teach people though too about like SpaceX and what's happening. And I think that's just the most important thing that we can do in our daily life is just, when you're having a conversation and somebody finally challenges you about it, talk to them, and hopefully, you'll learn something, they'll learn something, and they'll pass on this information, because word of mouth travels so fast, misinformation travels, facts travel, push as much facts as you can. And as soon as you find out something's not right, then change it. It's cool. It's all right to be wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an evolutionary process. If you know everything at the beginning, why learn anything?
What sucks too, like you have those friends that, like, I don't know if you have, I've had this, like, I've lost friends for fact checking them. Like, they'll tell you something, you're like, I know that's wrong. And like, you're not trying to be rude. You're trying, you're just like, no, like, that's wrong. And then they're like, oh, they get all mad at you. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I didn't make you wrong. You made you wrong.
That's true.
I really did lose a friend like that though.
That's
so stupid.
I know. Maybe it's just temporary though.
I don't know. When you lose friends like that, you're kind of like, all right, whatever. But it's still in the back of my head. It boils sometimes.
Well, JEM, I really appreciate your time, and it's been such a joy to talk to you. And I've asked you all the questions that I thought to ask, but is there anything that we didn't get to talk about that you want to?
No, I've talked a lot, and it's before noon, and I'm so proud of myself for actually having my brain on. My brain doesn't usually turn on until like 2:00, it feels like, anymore. So I appreciate it. And I really, actually, if you get to go to the Dear Moon project and all of that, what's some of the things that you would want to do while you're up there?
So, number one, survive.
Yeah.
Two, I think I would probably just stare at the moon and the earth and the stars. I'd be there with a camera taking pictures like crazy. Maybe with a sketchbook. I can't really sketch, so you have like the universe that exists and the universe that you see in my drawings, which are not the same.
Well, no, but it's cool. You think about, like, you are the universe and this is your perception. And I think that's beautiful. So whenever anybody says they can't draw, I'm like, yes, you can. You have two hands. You can do it. I swear. It might not look like mine or somebody else's, but that's what's the cool part. Everybody has their own style. So that's your style. Definitely draw while you're in outer space. I'd be upset if you didn't.
And I think, talking to other people about what's happening, I would love to like communicate with people back on Earth and share what I'm seeing and try to convey it to them in some way. I definitely interviewing everybody else that's on the ship. You know.
Well, that's what I was curious about too. If they were gonna like, I don't like what he has Starlink, right? Like, does Starlink go up that? Like, are you guys gonna? Is this a live? So many questions. That'd be so cool. If you could live stream and stuff like that, that would be amazing. Well, and even just taking the videos and the pictures. I can't wait. I can't wait to see everything. And then, yeah, like I said, when they come back and do a project for it and inspire everyone, I'm going to sit there and cry. I'm like, that's why I'm not doing it, because I'm going to cry the whole time. I would be crying.
But you know, that's kind of what you want in your artist, right? You want your artist to be able to be emotionally impacted by things, and then to be able to turn that into things that actually have an emotional impact on other people.
Right. I'm just going to download my Neuralink feeling. I'm just like, just implant it, you know, and I'm just going to, and then we'll just give this to everybody because I can't explain it.
Well, there was that astronaut, what was his name? Alan Bean, I think. He came back and he became an artist, a painter, and he just painted, you know, moonscapes and everything, and really worked on. Yeah, he even used some moon dust in some of his pictures.
I like
because he had like his patches, and whenever he like fell on the moon, they got like moon dust in them. So some of them.
That's kind of weird when you think about it, though. Like, he just came home and like had moon dust like all over him.
Yeah, it's just like, don't throw it away.
It's fine. Who knows what's on that? It's cool.
You know, somebody's sweeping it up and throwing it out. You're like, no, don't do that.
I love us. I just love our race.
Absolutely.
Watch Whose Line Is It Anyway? Whose line is it anyway?
Oh, okay.
To me, that's life. Like God is Jim Carrey or Drew Carey on a microphone, and like we're all just doing like these random skits.
Yeah, I read like there's this quote: "God is a comedian who plays for an audience that's afraid to laugh."
I feel it sometimes, for sure. I'm laughing though. That's why I'm like, dude, life has to be one huge pun, because there's no way that my God created me for any other reason.
We're entertainment. We're
entertainment. I'm like, why'd you do it? For the lulz.
I know. You can see some aliens flipping through their channels, and they're like, you know, I think I want to watch Earth today. That sounds fun.
That reminds me of Mostly Harmless. Is it Mostly Harmless? Douglas Adams, yes. Mostly Harmless, when the aliens come and kidnap her.
Yes.
Because they've been watching
the galaxy.
Yeah, and they were watching our horoscopes. They wanted to know their horoscope because they wasn't on Earth. They were checking our horoscopes and realized that they weren't on Earth, so that the horoscopes weren't right for them. Oh. And so they kidnapped her because they wanted their horoscope.
I don't remember this. I have to go reread it.
Yeah, that was the thing, is I feel like I did the Audible, and I had to listen to them all twice, because I feel like there's just Douglas Adams, and he can just make your mind stretch.
You know, there's a radio show that was originally produced for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where a lot of it's acted out. And things.
I know it was acted out. I know that's from BBC, right? Or it's from the British Broadcasting. And I remember watching like I love British broadcast. Like it must be my genetics. I'm like almost 50% Britain. So I think it must be just that, but that's like, it's my go-to. I feel like they're just so much more intelligent when it comes to writing. Our English writers today are very, I don't want to call them lazy. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know.
Maybe unrefined, uneducated.
Like I don't understand it. Like you could go so many ways. Like Black Mirror started out in Britain, right? It was a European writing thing, and then Netflix bought it and like just completely. At least that's what I was told. I don't know. I think that's true, but I mean that makes sense. But.
Well, Jim, I thank you so much. I'm really glad we finally got to connect, and you've been wonderful, and I really appreciate it.
Of course, and good luck to you. I'll be rooting for you.
Well, thank you. You have a good rest of your day.
You as well. Bye.